Arsenal, as you've been hearing, has sacked its manager Unai Emery after just 18 months in charge. The club is currently enduring its longest stretch without a win since 1992. Well, joining me now is Tom Ducat-White, a lifelong fan and presenter of Bruised Banana, an Arsenal podcast. Tom, thank you very much for coming along.
No problem.
Do you think this is the right move?
Yes, yep. If anything, they waited a little bit too long, I would suggest. It was funny on the sort of group chat that we had for the podcast, we were saying what would have happened if we'd won that game last night. Would he have kept his job until the weekend, for the Norwich game? But they've finally done the right thing, I think, and the writing's been on the wall for a little while for him. So we're pretty happy this morning.
But that's how tenuous, perhaps, the life of a football manager in a Premier League club can be. It can all fall on the fate of one match, the result of one match. Yeah, I mean, in fairness, the performances and results have been poor for quite a while now. There's been a 7-match run without a win, isn't there?
Yeah, and even stretching back into last season, I think, in the run-in, we really started to see the results slide. In the Europa League, they were doing quite well, and obviously we got to the final and then suffered ignominious defeat at the hands of one of our great rivals, Chelsea. So,
why has that happened?
Why has it gone so badly?
Why has there been a bad run of form?
I think he just wasn't able to get the players kind of playing the style of football that he wanted to play, and I think maybe in his own head he wasn't quite sure what that style of football needed to be. I mean, towards the early part of his tenure, he was starting to get us to play out from the back, and there was a lot of talk about a high press, and since then we've kind of seen a myriad of different formations thrown at the team, kind of different styles of play, and now we're kind of very defensive, but still conceding huge amounts of shots and goals. So
the club brought him on, presumably because of his previous successes at Paris Saint-Germain, Sevilla. Mm-hmm. Yet some might argue that 18 months wasn't long enough for him to really develop the team as he wanted to, or is that an unfair comment?
Well, I think Arsenal is a very small C conservative club. We don't make a lot of knee-jerk reactions, so I think he was given enough time for us to at least see whether or not he had a plan, and it felt like whatever that plan was, it wasn't working. So yeah, I feel like from an outside point of view it probably feels like a knee-jerk reaction, but from us we've been waiting for a while now.
Okay, do you think that Unai Emery was always going to have a tough job following in the footsteps of Arsene Wenger, in much the way at Manchester United we saw Sir Alex Ferguson, a period of turbulence before things started to settle a bit again?
Yeah, I think following a manager that had been there for 22 years, our most successful manager of all time, a club legend, a man whom we love very dearly as Arsenal fans, even in spite of his failings towards the end of his tenure, coming in and taking over that role was always going to be a big ask. And I think we have no sort of ill will towards him. There are a few little things that we kind of wish he'd handled better, the Ozil situation, but he it was the wrong man at the wrong club at the wrong time, unfortunately.
So who might be the right man at the club at this time?
Yeah, I mean, there's a list of about 9 candidates that I've been looking at this morning, and to be honest with you, I'd probably take any one of them at the moment. I think they've all got something to recommend them. The idea that we could get Pochettino from our great rivals is quite amusing.
There is that, yes.
Yeah, we're also obviously delighted that Freddie is taking over in the short term, and he's obviously another club legend and did really good work with the youth team. So
that's Freddie, for the viewers who don't know.
Sorry, Freddie Ljungberg, former Arsenal player. So there are some other names in there, Ancelotti, Max Allegri. I mean, Rafa Benitez was someone who, on the podcast, we kind of called out before Emery was appointed as someone that we would like to have, kind of a more established, older manager. I think there's a few different options out there. I guess we'll just trust that the board will do the right thing.
No shortage of material to mull over on the podcast then.
Absolutely. 3-hour episode in the offing.
Tom, thank you very much, Tom.